Hi everybody, it's Richard here again and welcome to another video. I thought I would try and do something a little bit different today. I've never actually reviewed any albums, and this is not really a review, but it's trying to work out why this album here is highly acclaimed amongst Paul McCartney fans, and quite rightly so. But this album here is regarded as a bit of a stinker, which personally I don't understand. So, Tug of War, released in 1982, it's regarded as Paul's comeback. It's his second solo, it's actually his third solo album. But really, Wings are solo albums. But anyway, it came after McCartney 2 in 1980, and it was produced by George Martin. Pipes of Peace, released the next year, also produced by George Martin. Tug of War is regarded as next to being a masterpiece, whereas Pipes of Peace is not. I don't know. Let's have some facts first. I have to write these down. Paul McCartney, whenever Tug of War was released, Paul McCartney was 40 years old. My God, that makes me feel so old. And Pipes of Peace, he was 41, obviously. Tug of War got to #1 in the UK albums charts, where Pipes of Peace got to #4. Tug of War stayed 26 weeks in the charts, whereas Pipes of Peace 23. Each album had a #1 hit single from it, with Ebony and Ivory being from Tug of War, and the title track being from Pipes of Peace. The second single from Tug of War only hit #15, whereas in the UK the second single, which was Take It Away, whereas Pipes of Peace, the second single was Say Say Say. Actually, that was the first single and it got to #2. The title track was the second single. So singles wise, the Pipes of Peace did slightly better. Okay. The reason why I think Tug of War is regarded in a higher esteem is because the best tracks on it are probably better than the best tracks of Pipes of Peace. Did I say that the wrong way around? Tug of War is regarded in high esteem. For example, the title track is one of the best songs he's ever done, Tug of War. And although Pipes of Peace is a very, very strong song, it doesn't compare, I don't think. And it's the same with the other track, Wanderlust from Tug of War, and the nearest thing I can get to that is So Bad from Pipes of Peace, which I think is a beautiful song. But Wanderlust is Beatles quality material. So I think that's one of the reasons why Tug of War tends to get looked more favourably. Also, if we take a look at the collaborations, and I know he collaborated with Gene Pitney, Carl Perkins, sorry, who's Gene Pitney? No, Carl Perkins, but put him aside because that's only one song. The two main collaborations were Stevie Wonder for Tug of War and Michael Jackson for Pipes of Peace. Now, I think Stevie Wonder is the cooler of the two artists, especially at a time when Michael Jackson was really flying high in the charts with Thriller. People seem to think it was a bit of a let's jump on the bandwagon, which is totally unfair, because if we look at the two Stevie songs, right, Ebony and Ivory does sound like a Paul McCartney song, end of, with maybe a little bit of Stevie Wonder lately thrown in there. But What You're Doing, is it called What You're Doing, or Look What You're Doing? What's it called again? What's That You're Doing? That's just Stevie Wonder all over. That's just a Stevie Wonder song. There's no Paul McCartney on that at all. So there's not. I think that is just so Stevie Wonder. Whereas the two ones with Michael Jackson, Say 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 and The Man, tend to sound more like Paul McCartney than Stevie Wonder, which is weird because why would you want it to be more like Michael Jackson on a Paul McCartney album? Say for me is the highlight of all those 4 songs. I think it is an absolute genius piece of pop music, and that's another thing I like to stress. These 2 albums are not rock albums. They're not to be looked at, scrutinised. Let's see the words. Let's see if we can see any hidden meanings in the words. Blah de blah de blah. They're pop music. That's it. They're not rock. They're not hard rock. They're pop music. They were made to become hits. They were intended to become hits. They were intended to become popular within the great UK public, great American public, great world public. And as 2 albums, each of them, I think, both pass. And I think they're one is actually nearly as strong as the other. You do have, comparing another 2 songs, like you get the bouncy McCartney catchy song, which is Ballroom Dancing on Tug of War. You get the same sort of song called Average Person on Pipes of Peace. Again, the Tug of War one is slightly better. It's slightly better. And I think people look again at the words too much. They think, oh my God, Paul McCartney's writing these silly, silly words. It's destroying the song. But the song Jet from Band on the Run was silly, because they even admitted suffragette was only there to rhyme with jet. He admitted that himself, and it's the same with the songs on these albums as well. Where Pipes of Peace really does come in is the song Keep Undercover, which I think is very ELO sounding, or 81 Moody Blues sounding, which I think is absolutely magnificent. It could have well have been a single, and I think it would have done quite well. And don't forget that a lot of these Pipes of Peace songs were recorded during the Tug of War sessions. So are they, okay, you could say that, okay, they're rejects, but don't forget as well the Rolling Stones album Tattoo You, which is probably their best of the 80s, and it's probably their best, I think, since Goat's Head Soup in 73. It's full of rejects. There's no new song on it at all, so that argument doesn't wash with me. Generally though, yes, I would say Tug of War is slightly better, but Pipes of Peace is nowhere near as bad as people tend to think. There's also a big hit on an instrumental one called Hey Hey, and the sort of dancey Tug of Peace. But if you play Hey Hey, your foot taps, and if your foot taps, that track is doing exactly what it intends you to do. It's pop music. That's it. And okay, it may be a little bit, what's the word, twee, maybe. Tug of Peace may be a little bit silly. I'm not saying they're fantastic songs, but they're not bad, and within the album setting I think they work actually quite well. So just have a wee quick run down the track list for Pipes of Peace. Pipes of Peace, it starts off with the title track, which I think is a very strong song. Say 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 is absolutely brilliant. It is, and it's got a superb video for it as well. I also say that with regards to Pipes of Peace, I think one of the reasons why it got to #1 too, because it had a really, really strong video. That's the one with regards to World War I and the football match on Christmas Day. The Other Me, I think, is a strong song, but everyone highlights the dustbin lid lyric, which is a lyric, that's all it is. It means being foolish, being a kid. It's just not there totally to rhyme. There is a slight meaning. Keep Undercover, I said, is great. So Bad, beautiful falsetto ballad. The Man with Michael Jackson, I think, is a good pop song. Okay, it's not fantastic, but I think it's a strong pop song. It's enjoyable. Sweetest Little Show, I think it's wonderful, especially with the guitar in the middle, the acoustic guitar solo. And Average Person, it runs into Average Person, which is a catchy, bouncy little number in the Paul McCartney style, so a little bit like the type of Magneto and Titanium Man type song, which doesn't seem to get slagged that often. Well, maybe not as much. Hey Hey, Tug of Peace, I've already talked about, and Throughout Our Love. or Through Our Love, is a fine McCartney ballad. Tug of War, brilliant. Take It Away, very, very strong. Someone Who Cares, I think, is maybe a little bit boring. What's That You're Doing is just a Stevie Wonder song. Here Today, I go in and out with that. I like the sentiments of it. Ballroom Dancing, fantastic. The Pound Is Sinking, fantastic. Wanderlust, fantastic. Get It is a great wee song. And Dress Me Up As a Robber and Ebony and Ivory. Dress Me Up As a Robber could have been on McCartney too. It's quite experimental. So, of course, what I've decided to do is make my ultimate Tug of War, and I'm calling it Tug of War. And I think this album, which is a mixture of songs from both albums, 13, I'm going to stick it on at the end of this video, is what I think would be the ultimate Paul McCartney 80s album. And I think it would be his second best album of all time if it was released. But as you can see, you may not agree with me, or you may think I'm talking the biggest load of old rubbish. But just to leave it, I think Pipes of Peace is just nearly as good. And you'll see from my track listing that there's 13 songs I put on my album. 7 are from Pipes of Peace and 6 are from Tug of War. So where Tug of War is excellent, it's really excellent. Wherever it's not so good, I think is the problem. Although I think it's overall a really true strong album, and it's one of my favourites of 82. Pipes of Peace is not my top 3 of 83 because 83 was so strong for albums, but I think overall it's probably slightly more consistent, but its highlights are not as strong as the Tug of War highlights. So anyway, I'll put this in and you can see what I think would be the ultimate Tug of War. Okay, that's me for now. Thanks now. Bye bye.